When it comes to Trump as president, it's reasonable to ask who's in charge. As his Wharton professor once proclaimed, he's the dumbest goddamn student I ever had. So someone has to explain all of this to him. Former Fed Chair Janet Yellen claimed that Trump had no idea how macroeconomics worked. And the guy who Trump hired to write The Art of the Deal says Trump couldn't pay attention for more than a minute. And all that was decades ago.
What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot parking lot, they began grabbing people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb. A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions, a U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested. A 4-year-old girl taken. Families separated. Friends, quite literally, disappearing.
So now, who's pulling the strings? Let's name the suspects. It's not Melania, because she's still learning how to talk.
There is definitely more to this story.
It's not RFK Jr., because that worm is still chomping away.
That RFK said doctors found a worm in his brain that had eaten part of his brain.
And it's not Elon who was crying for daddy to let him back in. No, my guess it's one of these two, Fox News or Stephen Nazi Miller. Both have contributed to the horror of the first 5 months. From the Doge cuts that bankrupted farmers and effectively killed children in third world countries to Miller's Orwellian proclamations of what the U.S. should be.
Children will be taught to love America. Children will be taught to be patriots. Children will be taught civic values for schools that want federal taxpayer funding. So as we close the Department of Education.
We'll get more on Stephen Miller in a minute.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off? Tom Cotton is coming on. He made a great observation. The endless wars are on. Since 1979, they've been attacking the entire region, chanting death to America, death to Israel since their very founding. It's time to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen. Let's close that chapter soon and start a new chapter in the Mideast, one of tolerance, hope, and peace.
But the Trump doctrine seems to be very clear tonight, Senator, and that is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, number one, and I agree with that.
That's Lindsey Chicken Hawk Graham, who has reversed himself so many times with Trump, he must have whiplash.
I think he's a kook. I think he's uninformed.
Well, don't you love me?
Here's why I'm with Trump.
But there's breaking news that Trump is being swayed by Fox News in his hawkish language about Iran. The New York Times has a report today detailing Trump's shifting attitude on the Israeli-Iran war, noting that Fox News coverage helped to sway him. This report explains Trump's shift in posture from wanting to negotiate with the Iranians about a nuclear deal to now seriously considering sending American aircraft to Iran to take out Iran's deep underground nuclear sites with 30,000-pound bombs. The Times explains how Trump went from being hesitant about Israeli bombings of Iranian nuclear facilities late last week to wanting to share in the credit. When Trump woke up Friday morning, his favorite TV channel, Fox News, was broadcasting wall-to-wall imagery of what it was portraying as Israel's military genius. And Trump couldn't resist, claiming some credit for himself. Now, that's disturbing, but not surprising. I mean, look who Trump has surrounded himself with this time. He went from Bill Barr, Rex Tillerson, and John Kelly to Hegseth, a drunk and sexual deviant former Fox host, Kennedy, a former heroin addict anti-vaxxer, Kristi Noem, who shot her dog in the face, and Pam Bondi, who Trump bribed when she was a Florida attorney general. You can see why he has nowhere to turn other than Miller and Sean Hannity. But more on Miller.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
He's been saying this xenophobic, racist shit since high school. Check this out.
Now the young aide is right at the heart of White House policymaking, greeted this morning by dueling profiles in the New York Times and the Washington Post.
After our story appeared, we were contacted by a high school classmate of Stephen Miller who sent us a copy of a video that had been made about him by his classmates. The video was kind of like a documentary about Miller and the role he had played as an outspoken conservative at his high school.
Hi, I'm Stephen Miller. Some of you may or may not know who I am. We don't have time to get into that right now.
So all we've got are these couple of short clips that have been included in this video that his classmates had made about him.
I will say and I will do things that no one else in their right mind would say or do.
You can sort of see that he's enjoying riling up the crowd. He's got a smile on his face at various points in time. But he makes this comment, and what he says is,
Am I the only one who is sick and tired of being told to pick up my trash when we have plenty of janitors who are paid to do it for us?
and in that moment you can learn something about Miller. He was someone who enjoyed riling up a crowd, and he has used that as sort of a political strategy throughout his career of activism.
We have a situation in America right now where our campuses are overrun with these dangerous radicals.
Hillary Clinton's got some issues. Well, she's a criminal for one, and that's tough. And maybe she'll end up going to jail.
The powers of the president to protect our country are very substantial and will not be questioned.
And now this junior Nazi kicked out Kristi Noem and has Trump reversing policies that shines a light on how deep the racism runs in this clusterfuck of an administration. The Washington Post reports that Miller had Trump change the policy of only sending ICE into gang neighborhoods to instead attack restaurants, schools, and farms. The very last places you're going to find a gang member.
Trump administration is halting some ICE raids. An email sent Thursday by a senior ICE official orders all agents to stop enforcement on agriculture, restaurants, and hotels.
Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have. And I think we can't do that to our farmers. And leisure, too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
And just like that, the Department of Homeland Security has reversed course again and is now conducting raids again against farms, restaurants, hotels, even construction sites. A complete reversal from Thursday when Trump said no more raids on these organizations and businesses. According to the Washington Post, ICE officials are under extreme pressure to ratchet up their arrests of undocumented immigrants to at least 3,000 a day. The most they've ever gotten in one day so far since Trump has been president is 2,000. I have no idea, once they make all these arrests, where the judges are to prosecute their deportations, where the trial attorneys are to prosecute their deportations, and where the jail space is to hold them, because immigration jail space is full, and deportation hearings are being pushed back 3-4 years. So these random arrests are gumming up the system, destroying businesses, destroying people's lives, scaring the hell out of everybody, ruining the U.S. economy. Just a complete mess.
It's been a lie since day one. This isn't about gangs. It's about brown people, Americans, both citizens and undocumented, who are the very backbone of this nation. 75% of agricultural workers are undocumented, with families, same as restaurant workers in America's largest cities. And if you remove them and combine these tariffs, well, you'll get a big fat depression.
How much do you think undocumented immigrants pay into the tax system every year?
Zero?
Nothing.
No, probably nothing. Undocumented, I would guess zero. Why would they pay anything?
My guess is nothing.
Since they're undocumented, $0.
$100? $100. 2022, they paid $96 billion into Social Security and Medicare, just undocumented.
I really don't know what to say about it.
But of course, if you remove 3,000 undocumented a day, it would take more than 30 years to approach the numbers they claim to remove. So no, this is simple. It's about racism.
It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen.
These restaurants, farms, and manufacturers will have to raise wages if they can even find white or black Americans willing to stand in a field for 12 hours a day picking strawberries. So who's running the country? Well, the real question is, who isn't?
Goddamn right.
Do you have no shame?
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.